Hello everyone, and welcome to this new and fascinating video, where we will explore together the incredible myths and legends surrounding the haunted ship, the Flying Dutchman. This ghostly vessel, hailing from Holland, is said to have inspired the movie Pirates of the Caribbean, and its tale of endless sailing is one of the most enigmatic legends of the seas. Many sailors know it and fear to meet it one day. This legend dates back to the 17th century, when the Flying Dutchman had to return to his home port in Amsterdam. According to some reports, it was carrying a huge amount of gold that would have driven the entire crew insane, so much so that they would have thrown the captain overboard to mutiny. But in his last breath, the captain would have cast a curse on them. The sailors who had recovered the gold wished to return to their home port, but by the time they get there, the whole crew will develop a terrible disease. The whole crew will catch the plague. The ship will no longer be accepted in any port. They will be condemned to wander on the sea as long as the disease does not cease or take away the whole crew. Since that day, there are many testimonies of people who report having met the Flying Dutchman, and among these testimonies we find very credible people such as commanders or officers. They all report having come across a ship eerily resembling the ship of the legend of the Flying Dutchman. They write all this: Nabila, half shipwrecked, but mysteriously not sinking. Her sails would be completely pierced or shredded, and some of them will even go so far as to say there are still some crew members and who would look like the undead or zombies. Their skin would fall off their faces, and the smell coming from that boat would be nauseating and could be felt for miles around. Of all the testimonies that have been made, none of them would have had the courage to get close enough to board that ship. One of the most credible testimonies we have is that of the king to George V. He saw the Flying Dutchman himself during his military service. In these testimonies, he even reports that he would have seen the ship surrounded by a kind of strange red halo. But there are also other testimonies that we can take very seriously. In 1939, 10 people reportedly passed the half-wrecked ship before it moved forward at high speed and suddenly disappeared. Or again, in 1942, it will be more than 50 different people will testify and report having seen the Dutchman flying off the Accords. But here too, they all report having seen mysteriously disappear while the weather was fine. So, natural phenomena, mirage or simple marine legend, the mystery of the Flying Dutchman still remains whole, and it will surely be a long time before that. Unable to reveal all its mysteries, in 1926, the highly esteemed boat Le Creole, known for its elegance and refinement, set sail. However, on its very first day of navigation, amidst initially calm seas, something unexpected occurred. The boat began to roll dangerously, and the captain faced significant challenges in maneuvering it, despite it being freshly inaugurated. It will therefore return to the builder for a design defect, and for many years we will hear no more about this boat. It was not until the early 1950s that a famous billionaire acquired it. He will undertake a lot of work for them inside this boat, but also outside to solve all the design problems and make it a huge palace that can sail on water. These repairs will cost him $1,000 and will last several years. But when this is done, he will use this boat for many years, and even put the biggest stars on this boat without anything happening. But one day, on one of his cruises in 1970, the rich billionaire's wife is found dead in strange circumstances aboard the Creole. An investigation will be conducted, but no one will ever be able to say whether it was simply a suicide or a cover-up crime. In any case, after this affair, Creole will be blocked in Greece for many years and it will be abandoned, which will degrade it a lot. It will not be until 1983 that a famous couturier will acquire it, and he will also undertake enormous work on this boat to try to restore it to its former beauty. The renovation work will last more than 6 years and will also cost him many thousand. Yet, despite all the work that has been done on this boat, it seems that there is a problem that persists, because the first time he's going to want to use his boat, the sails don't want to go down and the boat just doesn't move forward. Strange rumors are beginning to surface. The workers who worked on this boat claim to hear strange music. While they are supposed to be alone, some of them have even tried to find the source of this music but will never be able to determine where it could have come from. Soon, rumors spread that the ship was cursed. Many will even explain that it is the spirit of the young woman who died in this boat and who would torment the new owners. On the other hand, it will be necessary to wait until March 27, 1995 for the couturier to really suffer this curse, because he will be shot by a violent revolver bullet in the back. From there, the reputation of the cursed ship will intensify so much that no one will be interested in it anymore, and no one wants to buy it anymore. Even today, there is no new owner who wants to acquire this boat and undertake renovations on it. It will surely be a long time before we can say whether this was simply a combination of circumstances. But if this ship is indeed cursed, It was in 1872 that a merchant ship had to leave New York Harbor in the direction of Gibraltar. The crossing will go smoothly, but after more than a month of navigation, the crew will make an incredible discovery. On December 4th, 1872, they discovered another ship. It seems to have a very strange trajectory. They would sail in a zigzag, which is very abnormal. The crew will initially think it's just a problem, so they will try to help him. But when they get close to the ship and they manage to board the ship, they will discover a completely empty ship, and they will then nickname it the Phantom Ship. They will discover that the boat is completely in order. The dishes are neat and the linen is also in place. Some utensils even seem to have been placed on the table, as if they were getting ready to eat. But the most disturbing thing is that the crew seems to have completely disappeared suddenly, as one bed even bears the trace of a person who has recently laid down. Later, they will even find the logbook, and the last entries in the logbook date back to November 25th, which would mean that it would be more than 10 days since the boat sailed alone at sea. And during that time, he would have come a long way. Another strange fire is that according to some specialists, it is possible that a ship can keep a certain course and assure them that it should have quickly approached the codes, or just sick legends will make their appearance to them and say that this ship is run by dark forces, and that it would be these dark forces who would be the ones that would hold his course. Researchers will still try to study the boat to try to understand what could have happened in a slightly more rational way. The boat is nothing abnormal. There is no sign of any attack or storm that could have wiped out the entire crew. And because of this, the mystery will grow even more. Historians have managed to determine that on the heavenly husband was to be Captain Benjana, but also his wife and his sailors. Yet all would have completely disappeared without a trace over time. There will still be many people who will study this boat. There will never really be rational explanations that will be given. Some explain that the crew would have simply jumped over the side, but in reality, nothing explains how they could have disappeared in such a way and left the boat like that at a certain time. There are even investigations and searches that will be carried out to try to find the people who were on board, but it will never lead to anything. Again, new assumptions will be made. For some, it could simply be a confluence of circumstances that would have led the entire crew to fall over the edge to jump overboard for a... This is a mutiny organized by the crew that simply went wrong. Then there are also marine legends that claim that there was a Christine Marin in this area, and that would have scared the whole crew, pushing them to jump over the edge. But there are also mysterious hypotheses such as extraterrestrial hypotheses, or the hypothesis that there would be an experiment that would have been conducted on this boat. However, the most probable hypothesis that can be made today, and surely that the crew was either drunk or would have been disoriented because of gas vapor. Here, you should know that at that time, the celestial tide was carrying an enormous amount of alcohol. But obviously, again, there is no concrete evidence that has been brought forward. And the mystery? No, the whole thing. That's the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to tell me in the comments, and if you have other topics like that you want me to cover it in my next videos. If you are interested in the NT Legends, you can find plenty of episodes on my channel. In the meantime, you can always like, share, and subscribe, and see you in a future video. Who was Coinfire? Peace out.